Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this program of Don't Go, These Are the News. For today's topic, we're going to tell you about an important thing that is happening in the central bank, and it's called issuing legal tender. For this subject, I brought some colleagues of mine that will help me tell you about this topic. If you have any questions, you can contact us in this address that I'm going to show you. Now that is clear, let's start this video and I hope you like it. In a moment, you will meet my other colleagues, don't worry. So let's start. Well, here we are. So as you can see, the topic of this meeting is issuing legal tender. And we're going to see this topic through the central bank functions. And the colleagues that I'm telling you about are the next ones. Manolo Amaya, Sebastián Sepúlveda, Brazil, Paola Molina Sanchez, and me, your presenter, Maria Fernanda Avila. The agenda for today's is the next one. First, we're going to talk about Central Bank of Colombia, an introduction, and then legal framework for the central bank. Why are we talking about this? Because it is important that you remember the central bank a little bit in resume, because the topic of today, issue legal tender, is regulated in the central bank. So for us, it is important you to remember a little bit of the central bank so you could understand more the topic. And after that, we're going to explore more in the issue legal tender. After the issue legal tender, specifically the definition, you're going to see the legal framework for issuing legal tender, and for last, you're going to see how to issue legal tender. So first of all, central bank in Colombia. What is it? According to Colombia's constitution, Banco de la República is an institution that operates independent of government. It enjoys administrative, patrimonial, and technical autonomy, and it is subject to its own system of rules and regulations. As a resume of central bank, we're going to see it through three branches. The first one is the mission. The mission of the central bank is to contribute to the well-being of the Colombian population by preserving the purchasing power of nation currency, supporting sustained economy, growth, and contributing to financial stability, the power functioning of payment systems, and also adequate management of cultural activities. Now let's go to objectives or functions of the central banks. Its basic functions involve the issue of legal tender, the topic of today, banknotes and coins, the control of money, foreign exchange and credit in order to preserve the stability of the Colombian peso, the administration of the international reserves, and it serves as lender of a last resort and banker to financial institution, etc., etc. And the last branch, it will be a little bit of the structure of the central bank, but in the decision-making bodies. The decision-making bodies are composed by the board of directors that are the highest government authority that the Bank of the República and a responsible management and fulfillment of the bank's function. This power is provided in the Constitution and in the Law 31 of 92. The board of directors is a college body made of 7 members. As you can see there in the presentation, the Minister of Finance, also the general management of the bank, who is elected by the board itself, and 5 full-time members who are appointed by the President of Colombia for renewable 4-year terms. And the other decision-making body is the Administrative Council. Now let's see a little bit of the vision framework goals. That these vision framework goals are related to the functions that had the central bank. And its vision is principle based on becoming a reliable central bank, based on trust and transparency, having action plan for the next years, a strategic plan of 2022 until 2025, or also Colombia Community Wellbeing. These visions help how the functions or the objectives of the bank have to work. So in that way, the bank can manage the expectations of the public and also the expectations that the state has for the banks and for the population of Colombia.
Now we are going to talk about money emission and circulation all around the country that comes directly from the Banco de la República. This currency is based on the money production and distribution all around the country. The currency issued attribute is characteristic of the nation's monetary sovereignty and it is exclusive to the Banco de la República. This attribute has to be materialized by means of various contracts with the authorization of the Congress. Okay, bank notes and coins. The central bank issues the country's currency in the form of banknotes and coins. This is an exclusive function that may not be delegated. Consequently, the production, issue, supply, and destruction of all Colombian currency is solely the responsibility of Banco de la República. Banknotes are produced at the central facility for engraving and printing in Bogota, while coins are made at the National Mint, which is located in Ibagué. The issue of national currency is the formal and accountable process whereby banknotes and coins become legal tender after they have been produced and are ready for use. This occurs when the issue certificate is signed. The currency is then put into circulation once an economic exchange takes place. It is distributed through three main channels: Banco de la República's solar window serving the public, entities in the financial sector, and delegated vaults. Finally, I'm going to talk about Colombian banknotes. The family of Colombian banknotes lends continuity to a concept of biodiversity reflected in the series of coins that began to circulate in 2012, highlighting the country's wealth of natural resources. As part of the notion of family, these banknotes have security features that are common to all denominations in terms of where they are located and how they can be verified, thereby making it easy for the public to recognize and confirm the authenticity of banknotes. The new banknotes are circulating simultaneously with those designed previously, and both serve as legal tender for all transactions.
Now we have the legal framework of the central bank. It basically revolves around Law 31 of 1992 on December 29th, by which the rules to which Banco de la República must adhere in the exercise of its functions are established. After that, we have Decree 2520 of 1993 on December 14th, by which the bylaws of Bank of the Republic are issued, which are all of the administrative dispositions that the bank must put in place. Then we have Decree 1547 of 1994 on July 19th, by which Law 31 of 1992 is partially regulated. A great example of this is Article 2, in which it states that the Bank of the Republic may pay in advance the credits contracted with international financial organizations. And at last, we have Decree 1458 of 2004 on May 10th, by which Decree 2520 of 1992 is modified, which is the one we mentioned previously about the bylaws. Now we have the legal framework for issuing legal tender, which is stated mostly or all of it completely on Law 31 of 1992. We have a total of 6 articles which regulate issuing legal tender. The first is Article 6 about monetary unit. It states that the monetary unit and unit of account of the bank is pesos, issued by the Bank of the Republic. So it states the real term for our kind of bills, which is pesos. Then we have Article 7, which is about the exercise of the emission attribute. This gives exclusiveness to the Bank of the Republic for being one the one in charge of creating legal tender in a non-delegable manner. Uh, so it's only the Bank of the Republic who can issue legal tender, either bills or metallic currency. Then we have Article 8, which is about the characteristics of the currency. Legal tender will be expressing its value, will express its value in pesos according to the denomination agreed upon in the board of directors of Banco de la República. And it will be the only legal tender with means of payment with unlimited liberatory power. Then we have Article 9 about the production and destruction of the species that constitute legal tender. So basically, it states that the printing, importation, minting, exchange, and destruction of the bills and the coins produced by Banco de la República, um, these previous actions can only be made by Banco de la República. In Article 10, we have the withdrawal of bills and metallic currency, which states that the Bank of the Republic may withdraw bills and coins from circulation because they're about to cease to exist or stop being legal tender, and it replaces with a new bill. Article 11 is about the provision of metal coins and bills. Uh, this one states that the Bank of the Republic will adopt the necessary measures to ensure the provision of metallic bills and coins in their different denominations for them to be used by citizens and the economy.
Now that we already seen all the things that we need to know about the central bank, we can continue with our true topic of this meeting, that is the issuing legal tender. First of all, let's see what is it. The legal tender is money that is tendered by a debtor in a payment of his obligation money or monetary obligation, may not be refused by the creditor. Thus, the legal tender is a notion associated with the discharge of money of monetary obligation by payment. When the banknote of a currency is designated as a legal tender, it will be ordinarily be accompanied by nominalism. This paper considers how confusing the role national currency can be and has become by examining how the legal tender, a traditional core concept of national currency, has lost it is important at present. Now let's see the legal framework that has become of the Asian legal tender. First of all, the Article 6 tells us about the monetary unit, and the unit of account of the country is the peso used by the Bank of the Republic. The Article 7 exercise of the emission attribute, that it consists in how the Bank of the Republic or the central bank exercise in exclusive and non-delegable manner state attribute of using legal tender constituted by bills and metallic currency. In the Article 8, we can see some of the characteristics of the currency, like the legal tender will express its value in pesos according to the denomination determined by the board of directors of the bank of the central bank, and will be the only legal tender means of payment with unlimited liberatory power. The Article 9 expresses the production and destruction of the species that constitute the legal tender. And it says the printing, importation, minting, exchange, and destruction of the species that constitute the legal currency are proper and exclusive function of the central bank. The Article 10 tells us about the withdrawal of bills and metallic currency. And it says that the central bank may withdraw bills and coin from circulation, which will cease to be legal tender once the change period established when the replacement is announced has elapsed. And the last article is the 11, that it tells us about the provision of metal bills and coins. And the central bank will, in this article, will adopt the necessary measures to ensure the provision of metallic bills and coins in their different denominations. As you can see, all the legal framework that we just saw is how we can use legal tender and how it is used in the central bank here in Colombia.
We are going to talk about the risks related to issuance of money and the intervention of central banks and how they can cause a series of problems in an economy. For this topic, I choose the economist Murray Rothbard to talk about how central banks and the emission of money can cause several problems in an economy, including monetary inflation. Inflation is when a massive printing of paper cash makes money worth less. In the case of monetary inflation, the expensive printing of money by central banks can lead to general increase in prices, reducing the purchasing power of the currency. This also can lead to an inflationary spiral, where prices continually rise, eroding the value of money. Another problem related to the excessive printing of money is redistribution of wealth in a non-meritocratic manner. The printing of money and the resulting inflation can redistribute wealth unequally. Early recipients of the new money, such as the government or banks, benefit while those who receive the money later experience a loss of purchasing power. This can increase economic inequality and undermine distributive justice. And finally, we're going to talk about the loss of confidence in currency. Excessive money issuance and resulting inflation can disincentive to savings. Inflation can discourage savings in long term. Individuals and people may choose to spend their money quickly or invest in assets that provide protection against inflation, rather than investing in productive projects that generate long term economic growth. Because of the economic uncertainty and loss of confidence in currency the inflation can cause. Economic agents may have difficulty anticipating future central bank policies and adjusting their spending and investing decisions and can undermine confidence in the national currency. If citizens perceive that their money is constantly losing value, they may turn to alternative ways of storing wealth, such as foreign currencies or real assets, which further weakens the national currency and can lead to currency crisis.
Now I will talk about financial inclusion because it's a critical issue in Colombia, and the issuance of legal tender plays a central role in promoting this objective. As a primary means of exchange recognized by the government, legal tender is a cornerstone of access to financial services for all Colombians. In a country where a significant portion of the population lacks access to traditional banking services, effective issuance of legal tender can serve as a catalyst for financial inclusion. By ensuring currency stability, Colombian monetary authorities can foster confidence in the financial system and encourage more individuals to open bank accounts, access credit, and other essential financial services. Furthermore, well-managed issuance of legal tender can help reduce reliance on cash, which is often more prevalent among marginalized population. By facilitating the use of electronic financial services and promoting the adoption of digital payment solutions, legal tender can help integrate more Colombians into the formal financial system. However, challenges persist. Despite progress in recent years, some population, especially in rural areas and among indigenous communities, continue to face obstacles in accessing financial services. Additional efforts are needed to improve the accessibility and adoption of financial services, particularly in the country's most remote and underserved regions. In conclusion, The insurance of legal tender in Colombia can play a crucial role in promoting financial inclusion by ensuring equitable access to financial services for all Colombians. However, for this to be fully realized, monetary authorities must continue to develop policies and initiatives that address the specific needs of marginalized population and work to overcome the barriers that still impede access to financial services.